Hi everybody, I hope you're all doing well. It's been a couple of weeks since you've seen me, as predicted, because the book that I'm here to talk about was like 800 pages long, and I was thinking, no, I'm not going to be able to read all of that in a week. But also I've had a very busy couple of weeks at work, and now that it's been officially announced, I can tell you that I mentioned before that I'm on secondment at the moment in a different team at work that I've been doing since February, and how I was really, really loving it and everything. And it turned out there was an opportunity to stay permanently, which I applied for and I got. So yes, I am officially permanently staying with my current team, which I'm very, very excited about. I was so happy when I got told that I got the job and everything, and it's been officially announced everywhere throughout my organisation. So yeah, I'm staying, and I'm so happy, so happy. I just felt like, even though, as mentioned before, my previous role in my old team, I've been doing it for a very, very, very long time. I felt I really enjoyed doing it. This team and what they do just fits me like a glove, and I've thoroughly enjoyed my whole secondment and really didn't want it to come to an end. And then this opportunity just fell into my lap, and I thought, go for it, and I did, and I got it. So yay! I'm really, really happy. So I just wanted to share that news. I've also been watching stuff that I've needed to watch that I just haven't got around to. So I've watched like Shetland Series 9, Nobody Wants This Series 2. I watched a couple of Netflix films that I wanted to see. Yesterday I went and saw Wicked, which I really, really enjoyed. And yesterday I finally got around to watching The Substance, which came out last year. I just never got around to seeing it, and now I have. I really enjoyed that film too. So I feel like these past 2 weeks I've just been like trying to get through my to-do list before the end of the year, kind of thing. But yeah, I cannot believe that December is just about, well, it starts tomorrow, which means Advent is starting, and my mum is doing my Advent calendar just like last year, where it's 12 books from my to be read list that she and my dad have picked at random. I don't know what they are, and yeah, it's going to be exciting. So yeah, oh sorry, someone's just popped on my screen, hang on. There we go. Sorry. I hate it when alerts take up your full screen and you can't see what everyone else is seeing, but there we go. It's off my screen now. So yeah, I've been doing this, that and the other, and it's been, a lot going on these past couple of weeks, but it's been good, and I'm really happy that I get to carry on doing this comment the job that I have enjoyed so much on a permanent basis. So yay. And tomorrow I'm off to Bath to the Christmas market with my mum and dad, which should be really, really lovely. So yeah, I'm going to enjoy my day off, my one day off before Christmas that I have. Just to clarify, I had taken other days off in the year, as you know. It's just, the build up to Christmas. This is my one day I've got off before then. So yeah, I'm going to enjoy it. But anyway, let's talk about the book that I've been reading over the past couple of weeks, which is the Mary Ann Omnibus by Catherine Cookson. So this is the last collection or trilogy of stories by Catherine Cookson that I have in my current collection. I've only got 2 books of hers left. One is a fiction book and the other is a non-fiction, which you don't know about quite yet. Well, you don't know which one it is. So I'm going to reveal all that because very, very shortly I'm going to be picking my next 5 reads, and those 2 are definitely going to be in those the 5 reads to end off 2025. So that's going to be really exciting, but kind of devastating at the same time. I'm going to be finishing my Catherine Cookson journey after a couple of years. But yeah, I'm sure I'll be emotional. But anyway, so this is the last collection, as mentioned, the Mary Ann Omnibus. I think I'm right in saying these were published in the 80s. I should have checked before I hit record on this video. Let me just check. So this this collection, this specific book collection, came out in 1986, the year I was born. Oh, God, wow. But they were published in 1981 originally. So the Mary Ann Omnibus is a series of 8 stories, all 8 of them are stated down here, which were individual novels which then were brought together in one omnibus because they all covered the same character, obviously. And so I had this omnibus and I've been reading it for the past couple of weeks. And I will be honest, I liked it, but I didn't love it. Here's the thing about the Mary Ann Omnibus. Catherine's books always have, in her stories, we meet the character in their youth. So they're around probably about 7 to 10, let's say. We spend a bit of time with them and then it quickly shifts to like when they're 17, 18. It's very rare that we start off with ones where they are already at that age at the beginning of a book, but they tend to be ones that are set where we're following the adult. We are following a adult from the beginning, and they too tend to be kind of more set in like the 40s, 50s, 60s from the beginning. So yeah, but when we're talking about her historical, well, further historical than, because let's face it, technically World War II, it's classed as historical throughout, isn't it? Yeah, earlier, like when she's looking at like Victorian kind of setting, we always have our protagonists when they are about 7 or 8, then we have a time jump to when they're about 17, 18, and that's when their story really takes off. So when the Mary Ann Omnibus began with Mary Ann, when she is about 7 or 8 years old, I was like, okay, right, that's good, okay, so I'm in familiar territory and everything, okay, I will go with it. And because we've got 8 novels, oh gosh, we're going to have a real journey with Mary Ann through her life and her adulthood. 800 pages later, I come to find, no, we don't pass 13. We don't pass 13. Okay. I wasn't disappointed. It's just, I don't know if it's just because with Catherine's style, and for 2 years, her oh, another pop-up, my goodness. Pop-ups everywhere today. With her style that I've gone so used to, I was thinking, okay, this routine, here we go, da-da-da, and that routine didn't happen. I found it a little bit confusing, but also, as I was going through the books, because I didn't know that she'd still be 13 when 800 pages are passed, I was thinking there's got to be, like, around page 300, come on, we've got to be doing a jump soon, we've got to be getting her older, we've got to be doing this. No, we're just gonna stay in this thing. And to go through 800 pages, which is like the same length of A Dinner of Herbs, which follows 3 people over the span of about 50 years, to have gone through that same length of book with one character, and we only get through, 5 years of their life? That was jarring. It was jarring. Now, the actual story itself, Mary Ann is, she lives in poverty with her parents and her siblings, so many siblings. Her dad has a drinking problem. She gets teased and such about her life, and in order to compensate for that, she over exaggerates about things and such, and she tries to make things seem not as bad as what they are. She's very much, it's a protection shield around her, herself, this mechanism that she has developed, which you can understand, completely understand, and each of the stories goes through, as I said, they all 8 together span like 5 years of her life, and covers various events that happen to her family, but also the things that she does to help deal with the poverty and such. But obviously, because of that situation that she is in, there are a lot of adult kind of related topics that are brought to the forefront to her, and she matures very quickly regarding. So, as I said, like her father's alcoholism, there's various, I'm trying not to spoil here, physical altercations and stuff. We have death gets brought into it as well. There's all of these various different things that come into play, which very much, if you've read Catherine Cookson's books, then you would kind of know what to expect, what's coming up, etc. But very interestingly, I think because Catherine decided to stay in this childhood bubble, you do have perspectives on things that I hadn't seen her play with before. As I said, she does mature quickly because of the things that she has experienced and the things that she has to do in order to get her family out of poverty. But at the same time, still recognize that she is a child, and things that she finds so intriguing and new and in a way magical that she's never seen before, Catherine really does take time to focus on. So I really liked that kind of like childlike quality there, that she a perspective that she didn't necessarily do in other books, because as I said, in other books you get them for a bit and we understand their childhood and such, and then we have a big time jump of like 10 years, which is usually 8 to 10 years is the norm for Catherine, and then we meet them when they're reaching adulthood and the things that they learn and all that. So sitting for 800 pages for that length of time in just these distinct 5 years of childhood, which I'd never witnessed Catherine do before, was a really interesting thing to do. I just kind of wish I had gone into this knowing that that was the case. I went in blind. I go into her books completely blind. Obviously, if they have been adapted, because I've seen all of the TV adaptations before, I will know the story. But I do remind myself that they are adaptations. There are various changes that get made, etc. So it might not be necessarily the same story. But I kind of wish I had gone in knowing that I was going to read 800 pages of a child between the ages of 8 and 13. Because it was a lot. It was a charming story. It did make me think of things kind of like Cranford and such, because, not saying it's so lovely and warm and there is a distinct character in Cranford who grows up in poverty, and a relationship that he has with another character. I'm trying not to spoil Cranford for people, which changes his life forever, teaches him to read and know things about the world, etc. But yeah, that kind of thing where it shows that poverty means certain things they're going to have to take into account, but it's not necessarily the be all and end all for that character. There are opportunities available, and I love how in Cranford, when that character learns to read, and he is so happy when he sees in a newspaper his name, because there's somebody with the same name who's in print on the paper, and he's just like, he's in awe of the fact that he read that name and recognize, hey, that's my name. That is just beautiful and magical. So that kind of thing, I like the fact that Catherine kind of explored those same kind of things in this book. She's a very interesting heroine. I mean, as mentioned before, Catherine writes women, strong-ass women, so beautifully. And the fact that we are seeing how one of her women evolve in just the childhood period, again, is a really interesting factor that I've not seen her do before, because of her norm of we see childhood for a little bit, and then we pick up and then put that down again when they're an adult, and now we're following them from adulthood. So it's to see how a child develops in those key 5 years and what they could become is incredible to do that. I just kind of feel like it was a bit too long. 800 pages is a lot to follow an 8 to 13-year-old child. So yeah, it's just there's a spirit to her that is very bold in Mary Ann. She's not forgettable at all. It's just, I think for me personally, I would read these again, but I think what I would probably do is like pick it up, read like a couple of them, put it down, pick it up, that kind of thing. I'm not necessarily like, oh my god, I'll read them all together. It's not like, say, like the Malin trilogy, where I know if I start reading that again, I have to read the whole trilogy. Or Tilly Trotter. I know I'd have to read all of the Tilly Trotters again, even though I did say, you know, I wasn't. I kind of like the first one is the really, really good one. There's some crazy stuff that she makes Tilly Trotter go through throughout the course of the trilogy. But yeah, it just, I would definitely read all of the ones that have multiple books. I would read them all again. Whereas the Mary Ann Omnibus, I think I would pick it up and put it down. And that's not putting down Catherine's writing at all. Just as with all of her other books, all of her other characters, she's very vivid in what she is showing, the way that she talks about various things that happen in poverty at that time in Northern England. All of her stories are just stunning. It's just, for me, the length that we're with this child is just a bit too much in one go. But that doesn't mean that I wouldn't read it again. So there we go. So they are good stories. I don't want to talk about what happens in each individual story, because then I would be spoiling for what happened at the end of the previous one to then start talking about the next one. So I'm not going to do that, and I'm already 17 minutes in. So I'm going to start asking my usual questions. But yeah, the stories are great. Mary Ann is a wonderful character. As always, Catherine writes her world beautifully and the characters wonderfully. I just wish I'd gone into this knowing that I'm going to be spending 800 pages with an 8 to 13-year-old. That's, you know. But yeah, it was sweet, it was good, it was unexpected. I just wish it had been a bit shorter. So, time for my usual questions. Would I read this again? Yes, I would. But as I said, I probably read parts of it, not all 8 of them back to back, in order to give me a bit of a break. Would I recommend this to anyone? Yeah, if you were wanting to read, a different kind of story of Catherine's than what she usually writes, then yeah, go for it. And I gather, I say I gather because I don't know, you can buy these individually, or you can get the omnibus edition with all of them together. But I don't believe they are actually published at the moment by her publishers, because very few as new books, because very few of her works are still available as newly printed books. So you probably have to look in like secondhand stores to get these. Would I read any more Catherine's books? Well, yes, of course, because she's Catherine Cookson. I love her. I love her so much. And I've got, as I said, 2 books of hers left to go. So, yeah, it was an interesting journey I went with Mary Ann over the past couple of weeks. And yeah, I had a good time. I just think it was a little too much for the one character and covering a very short period of time. Okay, so it's my thoughts on the Mary Ann Omnibus. Have you read this book? I know, well, books, or the Omnibus book. I'd love to know what you think. Leave me a comment, comments below, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, tag to you like you said. And I'll back my thoughts on my next read, which is George Orwell's 1984. To clarify, I have read this book before, but I read it before I started my channel, so I've never discussed it on this channel, and I haven't read it as in physically read it since that time, because I physically read it. I borrowed the book from the library, physically read it, loved it, had to give it back. Then I got an audio book, and then I got the Christopher Eccleston dramatization, the radio play, which I'll talk about when I come to review this. And just so you're aware, this is the Wordsworth Classic Edition. I don't know if that makes a difference, I gather not, but I just wanted to just make it clear that it's the Wordsworth Classic Edition I'm reading. So yeah, so I'll be back on my thoughts on 1984 as soon as I'm done, which is most likely going to be next weekend. And of course, Advent is like starts tomorrow, but mine is the first 12 books of 2026 I'll be reading, which means I'll be with you every other day, and it'll have to be after work, so it'll be like late afternoon, early evening. You'll be seeing my videos announcing what the next the first 12 reads are of 2026. All right then, everyone, bye.